What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dissect That Film, where we dissect your favorite films, film franchises, and TV. Today on our new episode of Slice of TV, we are talking about Dexter New Blood, episode 4, H is for Hero. Joining me once again is the amazing Angela from DNA Gaming. We always got to applaud you. You're here every week, but you're still getting that intro every time. I am Brett Parker. I didn't even introduce myself. Yay for that. No one cares. But yes, today we are talking about episode 4 of Dexter New Blood. H is for Hero. The beginning of every episode, what we do is we do non-spoilers, which is really hard for us because we just want to talk about the spoilers. But we try to get our opinions on the episode without spoiling anything, and then we jump into full spoilers. But you'll be warned before we get there. So, start off, Angela. What did you think of episode 4?
Boy, oh boy. Was this the episode that I have been waiting for?
Right?
Ugh. More of what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
More of what I thought was going to happen.
Okay.
More of, oh shit, where is this going?
Right? It just brings you in, man. And at the end, you're just like, you're going to end there? I got to wait a whole other week to see what's coming up?
Right?
Unbelievable.
At the end, I kept tapping. I was watching on my phone and I kept tapping. I was like, oh shit, there's like 2 minutes left. No, they cannot leave me here.
Right? Like they're giving you all this information and you're like, I just remember watching it. Like I watched it today and I just remember watching it and then it just ended. And I was like, no way. Damn it. A whole week. But what an episode it was. I praise the acting in the show is superb. I don't think there's really any character who is like, I'm not really a fan of that. Not really a fan of him. All the characters are fun in their own ways, even the quirky ones. Like we even got like Fred Jr.'s in the episode for like 5 seconds, but even his little appearance is always like a bright spot because he's a quirky character. I do have to praise Jack Alcott, who plays Harrison, because boy, this kid can act and he is doing a great job at it. Michael C. Hall, always a pleasure as Dexter, and to be able to see kind of the old Dexter come out, not like serial killer Dexter, but the crime investigation, like the blood splatter analyst Dexter. God, it was great. And always when Dexter and Deb are on the screen together, it's always amazing. And this was probably one of my favorite interactions, because it wasn't just Deb screaming at him or, giving him shit. It was more, well, she does give him shit in this episode, but I like how it all turns. Like she's giving him shit, but then it's like, oh no, maybe I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. But overall, this episode's great. We get some callbacks to the original series, which is always a great thing. And the Jamie Chung, Molly Park, the podcaster, I kind of like her character. I kind of intrigued to see how the relationship between her and Angela go into the rest of the season. And of course, why am I blanking on I blank on his name every week. Clancy Brown's character, Kurt. You find out some stuff about him that we were questioning last week in episode 3. And now it's a kind of a clear, yep. At least that's what they try to play at. Overall, great episode. Loving this show, loving this return, and I can't wait for more. All right. Listen, it's not a lot of non-spoilers because we just want to talk about the spoilers. So if you haven't seen episode 4 of Dexter New Blood, make sure to log off this video, go watch it, and then come back and listen to us completely spoil the shit out of this episode. All right. So, full spoilers starts now. Angela, give me your thoughts with spoilers on like what were the things that you liked that you were like everything you said in the non-spoilers. I want to know what they were.
The whole thing with Harrison, like
Right.
he's more turning into Dexter now.
I
Like,
know.
I
know. It's so good. And the way that he is able to have those split, like, not really personalities. He doesn't have a split personality. He's just able to play a different character. So when they come and see him after, the stabbing, and he's sitting there and he's giving them the story of what happened. And then even, Dexter, is suspicious of it because he knows this is the thing about Dexter in the show is like, he doesn't want Harrison to be like him, but this is what his fear was the entire time. This is why he left. This is why he faked his own death and left Harrison, was because he didn't want Harrison to become what he's becoming. But I also like the fact that this character, Harrison's character, is not just like a spitting image of Dexter. I feel like he has more compassion, because he knew what this Ethan character was going to do. He knew that inevitably this kid was going to do something really bad, and Harrison stopped it from happening. But then they have the little ceremony where the cop comes and speaks, the coach, whatever, I can't remember his name, but the coach comes, who's also the cop, one of the deputies. He comes and talks to all of the people that were on Ethan's kill list. And I love how, they all want Harrison to do a speech, and Harrison gets up and just completely lays it on to Zach and his little gang there. And it's so funny, but it just gives me, it shows that he's got a lot more compassion. Like he planned on doing this to Ethan. Of course, Dexter figures that out, that Harrison was the one who started the whole thing and then framed Ethan for it. But it was more because he knew what was inevitably going to happen with Ethan, which I thought was great. And I just love that he wasn't afraid to, even after everything happened, to stand up for Ethan, even though Ethan's fucked. Like, this kid's life is pretty much ruined. But I just loved it. And they just cowered as he was laying it into him. Fantastic. One of the big things for me was finding out about Kurt and some new stuff about Kurt. What did you think of the whole thing going throughout the episode with him?
You'll have to refresh my memory.
So at the end of last week's episode,
since I watched Dexter, then I watched Ghostbusters, and I'm like,
yes. Unfortunately, we are recording this episode of this, and then we are immediately going to be talking about Ghostbusters 2016, which will be out on Friday. So yeah, Angela had to take in a lot of stuff today. I had Ghostbusters 2016 out of the way like 4 days ago. So I'm like, I only had to worry about Dexter today. But so Kurt, at the end of last week's episode, he is really drunk, and he tells Dexter about how, Matt's alive. I FaceTimed him, blah, blah, blah. And of course, Dexter's just, plays it off. But so he continues that charade or however you want to say it, of Matt being alive and pretty much going around telling people about it. But Dexter believes, and of course Deb is there, and they're having like the old school, like Deb's in her like old outfit that she wore when she was she was a detective in Miami. She's wearing her outfit, and she's trying to connect all the dots, and she's linking things around. I love how she like X's out people's faces, and then when she goes back to do another one, she un-X's their faces like it's a eraser, really cool. Which is really cool. And so so Dexter believes that Kurt is playing it off like Matt's still alive, so he can find who's responsible for Matt's disappearance, because I think Kurt knows that Matt's either held up somewhere against his will, or he's dead. And we find out he owns a diner. which we didn't know. You see though, when Dexter's getting gas, he sees Kurt talking to a young girl in the Steiner, but you think that he was just a patron. But then you find out that he owns the place.
Which is weird.
Yeah. And he's one of his employees comes in and tells him about how there's a girl that's like camping out in the diner, and he goes in there and he tells the girl, like, you know, I can't keep giving you money, but I can give you a job, and I can give you kind of a place to stay for temporary until you can get on your feet. And then you see how far he brings this girl, and you're like, okay. And then you see the cabin that he brings her to. And if you recall from the last episode with with the last girl, you're like, oh shit.
Yep.
Okay. But I also have a feeling that there is going to be, I think my theory is that it's not just him. Like, we did think like there's a possibility it could be that oil baron guy, but what if they're working together? It's just a theory. It might not even be remotely related, but I feel like there hasn't been enough of this guy, the oil baron. Oh, what is his name? Owen? Was it Owen? Oh,
I think it was
Olsen. Olsen.
Yeah, Olsen.
There wasn't just not enough of this Olsen guy where I feel like it's going to come back in some way. Maybe not in the way I'm thinking, but you never know. What did we think of Molly Park, her character? She was the podcaster. She was the one who had the worst Mary fucking Kill. What a terrible name for a podcast. Listen, before I let you start talking, why do they do fictional podcasts? They have to be the worst fucking names for podcasts. I swear to God, I can't ever like figure it. Like, why? It's not that hard to come up with a somewhat decent name to your show. But I digress. Yeah. What did you think of her?
I thought it was really cool that she actually did one of her podcasts on Trinity.
Yes.
The Trinity Killer.
What a scene.
And that, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but part of it was spoiled for me. So I'm pretty curious as to what's going to happen.
Wait, somebody spoiled episode 5? Or no, like the rest of the season?
I was looking up something and I saw it was on IMDb. I was trying to see a certain person in an episode and I saw another person from the original series and I was like, damn it. I want to see this. So
it has been put out there. John Lithgow, who played the Trinity Killer, Arthur Miller, he was on one of the morning shows, like the Today Show or whatever it is. And
I don't listen to those,
well, no, I was on YouTube and they taught because it was like it's the anniversary of Third Rock from the Sun, which was a sitcom he was on in the 90s.
Yeah.
And they also mentioned Trinity and how he's going to be back. And I was like, why would you drop that? Especially being
that was spoiled for me.
So there it is. Like John Lithgow's coming back somehow. And of course you just see his picture in this episode, and what a scene. So it's Harrison is sitting in the gym, getting ready for wrestling, or he just got done, and he's listening to this podcast that's Molly Park's like murder podcast, and there was an episode about the Trinity Killer, which of course is the man who killed his mom, and he knows that, so he's listening to her talk about it, and also she's she's just terrible. Like I would not listen to her podcast. It's awful. I swear a lot in our podcast, but like, God, come on. Hers is like, just, there's like no, I feel like if you do a podcast like that, you have to kind of be sentimental, like not sentimental. I'm trying to think of the word. Like you can't, I feel like she just has no respect for who she's talking about. Like she's talking about how like, and Trinity fucking slashed the mom and the kid was just fucking laying in the blood. And I was like, who would listen to this? Yeah. This is trash. This is a trash podcast. How
does that kid have to be? And it's like, what the
that's
hell?
Such a terrible. I wouldn't listen to it. Listen? People leave me comments. If you leave me a comment of what you think of this, would you listen to this podcast? Not this one. I hope you guys listen to the one we're doing right now. But I mean this fake one in the show. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But yeah, she talks about the Trinity Killer, and he's getting really emotional about it because, of course, this is his mom, and he knows about everything that happened because he was there.
You could have cut everything that she was saying out of it, just watched it, and still got the same thing out of it.
I think if you didn't hear anything she says, you just, for one, it shows a picture of her, which I think that's what kind of picks up the emotions for him. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's a tough scene to watch, but also I was just like, man, this chick sucks. I mean, she gets better when she's talking with Angela in a way. I guess she's probably my least favorite character of the show so far. She's just a little bit over the top. Like, I can guarantee there are podcasters out there that are like this, but I feel it's a lot more rare than you think. Like, I want to give a good example. Halloween 2018. There was in the beginning of the movie, there was the two podcasters that go to visit Michael Myers, and then they meet Laurie Strode, and then they end up dying. But they were a little bit too much too, where it's like, they're paying like $3,000 just to talk to Laurie Strode. And I'm like, maybe, but really? Like, I feel like they don't know. Like, there's so many podcasts out there in the world. You can't like listen to one and just kind of, create your own fictional one. I am going way too far into this. It just made me angry of how bad it is, and that she's a popular podcast.
Right.
Yeah. So, the Kurt thing, is interesting to say the least. What did we think of the Dexter Deb scenes throughout the episode?
I'm torn because I like her yelling at him. Mm-hmm. and telling him how stupid he is and how he should figure it out. But I also like her as that encouraging force, saying, don't think of him this way. He didn't do it,
Yes. I agree.
But then he has to pull out that reasoning like, hey, I know what I'm doing. I know blood splatter.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, got to prove you wrong, sis.
I love it that it's not just him just saying it. He demonstrates it. And of course he uses Deb, who's not there. We have to remind people that every week. Deb is dead. Yeah. It's his just, she's in his head. And yeah, I like how they go to the gym and he has to prove it to her. And she is trying her hardest to convince him that he's wrong. And he's like, I did this. This was my job. I can read blood. Like, I can see something on the floor and know this isn't right. And I love that she stabs him and the blood goes to the side, and immediately her face is just like, fuck. And then they go through the whole thing and it all matches up perfectly. And you're like, oh boy. But you kind of have it. Like, did you have an idea, like, when it all happened, that it might have been that way?
Yeah. Just the way that he was acting, because you can kind of tell when he's telling the truth and kind of when he's like bullshitting.
Yeah, he's like that really like somber, like, oh, I didn't even know.
And he was like over the top when Dexter was asking him the questions like, what hand did he hold the knife in? Right. He's like, he's just like, I don't know.
It's like, I got fucking stabbed. Like, I don't remember.
Yeah. Because it's almost like his voice didn't match his facial emotion.
Right. Yeah, it's one of those things where that Dexter is going to be facing off against Kurt at the end of this episode, or not at the end of this episode, but the end of the season. But is he also going to be up against Harrison at the same time? Like, is he going to go up against him, or is Harrison going to like be like a partner in crime with Dexter? Like, it's one of those, I feel we all know he's going to go down that path, or Dexter's going to try to prevent it and really do something drastic. I don't know. I'm excited to see that. But the way that Harrison goes about it, where it didn't just happen and then he just ignored it. Like, he goes to see Ethan at the hospital and he sees his parents, and his mom is distraught, and really, a lot of people be like, well, it shouldn't. She was mad at him because she didn't tell him that he was doing bad stuff. And of course, that's just how a mother would be in that situation. Well, parents, you know, the father's kind of more chill, but he's upset too. He's like, I appreciate what you did, but I never want to see you again. Like, never come around. So it's one of those things where he feels bad for how far Ethan went because he knew that it wasn't Ethan's fault. Like, that's why he stands up to Zach and his friends in the auditorium. You guys bullied him for years, treated him like absolute shit. What did you think was going to happen? Like, that's just the world we live in nowadays. I mean, you know, there's like, I think in the last 2 days, we've had 2 school shootings. Like, and who knows the reasonings behind them, but that's just how it is. You know, people don't understand what they do. You know, just, I can't even say simple bullying. Like, when we were kids or we were teenagers, the things that we would, joke around with our friends about, or I don't know, man, bullying is just bullshit. And I can't stand, the thing I like about the show is that I feel like the way that it goes about the bullying aspect of it is more realistic than what you see in most other movies or shows that have bullies, where it's like over the top. Like, this is, I feel, a very accurate depiction of what, bullying is and what the repercussions of it can be. Mm-hmm. Like, if it wasn't for Harrison, this kid could have came in and done a lot of damage. Zach and his friends could all be dead.
Yeah.
It's a serious situation. Don't bully. Be nice to people, because you never know.
That.
It's not cool. It is not cool. So yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, what else did I miss? Did I go over everything? So Angela tells Dexter that she's not going to file charges against Harrison, even after Dexter kind of figures out everything. Like, he knows that Harrison's guilty, but, I feel Dexter is understanding of why Harrison did it in the first place, because that's how Dexter did it. Dexter didn't just kill to kill. He killed people who deserved it. And even though Harrison didn't kill Ethan and didn't plan on killing Ethan, he prevented Ethan from becoming a really bad person. Because even though he was bullied to get him to that point, if he came in and, shot a bunch of kids, then it makes him a really bad person. So he prevented all of the future problems, I should say. Angela, we get the scene where Molly Park comes to talk to Angela about Matt at first, but she won't give her much information. So she starts talking about the missing girls, all the missing native girls that are plastered all over her bulletin board. And she talks about how she literally whips out pictures of like a couple girls that are on her board. Like, well, she's here under a different name and she's here, doing whatever. And it's like that easy. She's like, I can do more. The one thing I hated about that whole thing, was her making a drink. Why? So dumb. This is what made me not like this character. I like where she's coming from, and she's going to help, and I'm interested to see what those two are going to do together. But why? Why? We don't need that.
Yeah.
But
I was like, this is so dumb.
And then of course we get our Fred Jr. cameo. I call it a cameo because literally he's only in these episodes for like 10 seconds, and he's got his dog, and he's like, I don't know why my dog's like this. And he's all over him. He's like, it's probably because he's got a cat's name. And he's like, I gotta go empty the dog. Oh man, so good. I think that's about it. So we talked about Kurt bringing the girl to the cabin. So that's going to be it's going to be interesting. We can't forget Dexter going through Harrison's room while Harrison's at school and finds a straight razor in a little container, which is the weapon of choice for the Trinity Killer. So where is that going to go? We shall see. Oh, he was hidden in a flashlight. That's right.
Yeah.
That was a cool hiding spot. But yeah, that's about it. Oh, and we get a cool little conversation between Kurt and Dexter earlier in the episode, because Kurt brings a gift to Harrison for being the hero. That's why this episode is called H is for Hero, because Harrison is being praised as the hero for, the whole incident between him and Ethan. So Kurt brings him a drone. A cool callback to, I think, episode 2, where he's flying the drone around with with the deputy who convinces him to go into wrestling. And then they're outside, like he leaves, and Kurt and Dexter talk about Matt, and Kurt is talking about how he knows that Matt's a fuck up. He's been trying so hard. He's like, I wish I just kind of let him figure his own shit out instead of always bailing him out. And then Dexter mentions the boat accident and some information where Kurt kind of gets a little suspicious. And even Dexter says certain things, and he's like, I know it's not true, in his head.
Yeah.
And that was a cool little interaction. But then, it kind of all turns back around to, them kind of having a good little conversation. Then Kurt leaves. But yeah, the final shot is the straight razor. And then Dexter states, oh, he has my dark passenger. And then it's over. And I want more right now.
Right?
So, as we do at the end of every episode of Slice of TV, we're going to talk about our theories of what is coming up. It doesn't, listen, they're theories. They're not going to be right. Well, most of them won't be right. But what do we think is going to happen in episode 5? I don't even know the name. It's called Runaway, by the way. I have it up on Wikipedia. What do you think's what are your theories?
Honestly, I don't know at this point, other than seeing the cabin and seeing Kurt go to the cabin with that girl.
Yep.
Is he gonna, keep her there?
It's gonna be interesting.
Ooh, I'm just excited.
Yeah.
I need more Harrison.
Right. I'm wondering if Dexter's going to confront Harrison about the straight razor, or if he's going to kind of keep it all to himself and kind of spy on Harrison.
Knowing him, he's probably going to keep it
to himself.
Like, oh, I didn't find this, so
yeah, put it back and just kind of
yeah.
wait to see what happens. It's kind of how Dexter is. He always kind of plays it in the shadows until he knows that he's out in the open and has to play it that way. But yeah, I think we're going to see some of the dark side of Kurt, like the real dark side. Like we have, but we really don't know if it's Kurt. I still kind of have it in my head like there could be a team going on, or like the two richest people in the town have some weird freaking like some Jeffrey Epstein type shit going on. Like it's not even a joke. Like I feel like that's some sort of like could be some sort of weird shit like that. And
it's possible.
The fact that we've seen this oil baron, this Olsen, I gotta call him his name. I keep calling him just the oil baron. I feel like, what year are we in here?
I feel like he's got a monocle and a top hat.
All right, I got that oil baron. But yeah, we're gonna see. I just feel like we haven't seen him enough. And of course, is Trinity gonna make an appearance? Even though I don't understand. I watched him die. He dies. What the fuck? Like, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I am so intrigued. But that's gonna be it for our conversation about Dexter New Blood. Episode 4, H is for Hero. What did you think of episode 4? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Leave a comment down below. And make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, because we are inching closer and closer and closer to those 100 subscribers. We're at 55 right now. and we need 100 so we can get our custom URL. Also, we just got a lot of awesome people viewing our videos, which is great. Yeah, so this will be out Wednesday, and then our podcast about Ghostbusters 2016 will be out on Friday. So you guys got a lot of videos this week. I hope you guys enjoy our Ghostbusters Afterlife talk. And as for Slice of TV, we will be back next week to talk about episode 5 of Dexter New Blood. Until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is Angela from DNA Gaming, and we'll see you all next week. Bye!